Hi, everyone. My name is Leigh Zisko, and I'm going to be leading this next conversation. We are just waiting for our speaker, so it'll just be one more moment here while she joins this session. I see her coming in now. Melissa, can you hear me? She's still connecting to the audio here. Hi, Melissa. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, I had to log in from my phone.
No, you're fine. It's great to see
Otherwise,
you.
this is nice to see you too.
Well, we'll go ahead and just jump in. I know we only have 10 minutes today. So thank you for joining us. Melissa is a good friend of mine and a good friend of GAP's. Melissa Robinson is from Kansas City. She is the president of the Black Healthcare Coalition in Kansas City, which is a group that focuses on health equity in the region. She is also a councilwoman in Kansas City and does a lot in the community to ensure equity across various health organizations and health concerns and therapeutic areas. So we're very happy to have her here, even for a short time. Our conversation today is just going to focus on health disparities and different things that we can do with policy specifically in order to improve in those areas. So Melissa, I'm just going to dive in with our first question here. What are some of the most significant health disparities that female caregivers face compared to male counterparts, particularly in terms of access to care, mental health, and physical well-being?
Certainly. So, as you can imagine, as females are often referred to as a natural caregiver, and we look at nuclear families, they're more likely to be the caregiver in comparison to men, which leads to not only lost wages when they're taking off from work to provide that additional role, but also anxiety, depression, a lot with mental health, as well as just not having that time to take care of their own health, which includes higher propensity to develop um, disease at the later and find it at a later stage because they're not participating in those preventive health care screenings. And so when you look across the health outcomes, females do, especially those who are giving who are caregivers, do experience disparities related to healthcare outcomes.
That's excellent. Thank you. And something that unfortunately we do see, I think, rather consistently, and it was has been discussed on some panels earlier today too, is folks not being able to care for themselves when they're spending so much time caring for others. So I think that opinion or that perspective has been consistent. What role does community support play in the health outcomes of female caregivers, particularly in under-resourced communities? And this is a two-part question. How can policies support grassroots organizations like the Black Healthcare Coalition in providing care?
Absolutely. We know that the Black Healthcare Coalition, we exist because there are failures in the traditional medical settings. And so we are standing in the gap to make sure that we're that equity approach to ensuring that we have better health outcomes. And so what that looks like is oftentimes we'll be doing screenings or having a spa care day for caregivers because we know that they're not going to the doctors often. So we're going out to them, creating special placemaking opportunities and making sure they have the access to care. And so when we look at policies, and just as we talk about cultural things that we can do as well in terms of training men early and making it an expectation early in their lives that they're going to participate in family development and caregiving activities, and leaning in and ensuring that we're speaking up and saying, hey, we need help, and these are ways that you can help. From a community standpoint, we oftentimes, when we talk about policy, it is making sure of two things. One, there is investment value. So understanding and acknowledging that organizations like the Black Healthcare Coalition and other grassroots organizations, they have a value, and we need to invest because we value what grassroots organizations bring to the table. And then secondly, to have a respectable seat at the table where we're making decisions about policies and changes, making sure grassroots organizations who have a very unique perspective to what an insight to what's happening on the ground, that voice is valued. And that's through policy making. So when we're setting up boards and commissions, and we're setting up cabinets of individuals who are making those decisions, ensuring that there's a community voice. And then funding, that so budgets are our value statements, and how are we investing? And those are policy implications that we need to look at.
Yeah. And how, I'm going off script a little bit here, Melissa, but how would you encourage people who want to get more involved in some of those spaces, being more involved in making policies? You yourself, as I mentioned in your introduction, are a councilwoman. Where would you guide folks who want to get interested in that space to jump in?
Absolutely. There are a lot of national organizations. So right now I'm at the National League of Cities in Tampa, Florida, and we have policy roundtables where everyday folks that are at the municipal level, we're coming together, we're writing state and federal policy that makes sense for us, and a lot of organizations have those. So look to places like for us, it's the Congressional Black Caucus. We know that they have a strong sense of being able to bring a coalition of Black physicians together to talk about these issues, and they're pulling and pushing with those Black congressional members to say, like, these are the policies, but we're connecting that grassroots level, those other voices. And so I would look to your state, your local level, your national policymaking boards and groups and coalitions, and start there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And we have about 2 minutes, Melissa, so I will sneak in one final question here. Given the unique challenges that female caregivers experience, how are current health policies falling short in meeting their specific needs?
It really has to do with looking at the whole family unit and looking at comprehensive care. Oftentimes, when we're taking our loved ones to the doctor, they're just focused on the care of that patient. But we need folks in the clinical setting to look at the whole family unit and start to provide care there, and to make sure that there are codes and billing opportunities for reimbursement for taking care of that whole family unit, making sure that we're doing just integrated screening for the caregivers that are coming to your clinical sites to say, like, hey, how are you doing? Can we do a depression screener, an anxiety screener, a sleep screener? Like, how are you taking care of yourself? And so oftentimes we're focused on that singular patient, but we have to extend that to their caregiver as well. And we need to develop policies that really incentivize providers, healthcare providers that are doing that very well, and also develop models that others can learn from and implement as well. So thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. I know that you are in the middle of a conference yourself, so we appreciate your insights, and it's always great to see you. So thanks again, Melissa.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
And I want to just announce to everyone, thank you so much, Leigh and Melissa, that was great. We have a break, as you can see in the agenda, from I believe until 2:30, if I'm correct. And that's when our next panels will start, is at 2:30. So please take a nice break, but we will see you at 2:30. So thank you all today for attending. It has been great so far. So thank you. Bye-bye.